We knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed, few people cried, most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu, who says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
What up, Monarch Monstars? It's your boy Trey of the Bat Channel, and we are doing our Godzilla -1 movie review. So make sure you guys smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want more great Godzilla content, hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Without further ado, let's bring out the best co-host I could ever ask for, and to my surprise, made Godzilla -1 his #1 movie of 2023. Insane, ladies and gentlemen, Super Bro Corey.
What's up, dude? How we doing, my friend?
I'm so excited to talk about this freaking movie. What? Hold on. What is that?
Oh yeah, buddy.
Is
Had
that
to come prepared.
Where did you get that?
Yes, sir. Godzilla.
Oh my god, dude! It's straight out of the 1950. What?
Authentic Toho.
Where did you get that,
buddy? My first Kaiju shirt. I figured I had to drop it for the Godzilla -1 review. So, yep.
Hold on. This isn't AI, right? You're not AI. I need you to prove it right now. You know,
prove it. Just kidding,
guys. I'm mind blown right now because when I was growing up, if you know nothing about our channel, if this is your first time tuning in with us, you would know that Super Bro Corey used to tease me about being a Godzilla fan. And it was a running joke where, I had all the DVDs of Godzilla movies and was playing it nonstop. And Corey was a King Kong fan. And to hear Corey really love this movie, really get into the MonsterVerse with Legendary and Toho, and more importantly, to see a freaking t-shirt.
Roy.
It ain't Roy.
But it says on his shirt.
It ain't my shirt.
So who's Roy?
Got a brother, Roy.
Is that his shirt?
Was. Roy is dead. I needed a clean shirt.
Bro, I was thinking about it. I was like, man, this might be my first Kaiju shirt altogether. And then I was like, no, I think I might have had a King Kong shirt back when we did Universal Studios King Kong rides and such like that. But man, this is like first like legit Godzilla shirt, and I figure I'd impress you with the 1954 Godzilla, my friend.
Well, you have me impressed without question. And what a great kind of callback, especially when it comes to Godzilla -1. This film has been absolutely incredible, just in terms of the reception it's getting, because I feel like Hollywood has always kind of looked down on, some of the B movies, the monster kaiju films. It was never considered cinema,
I used to look down on them.
Yeah. But this film has stood the test of time and has really, extended its movie theatrical release here domestically in the US, and has just been absolutely insanely well received and kind of acknowledged by all in Hollywood as like, yeah, this is a damn good, not just a Godzilla movie, but a movie, and it's just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. It was my favorite movie from 2023. So I'm excited to dive into it with you, buddy.
Well, let's go ahead and do that, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for us to talk about Godzilla -1. We were busy in Monarch Legacy of Monsters. We've been hyping up. I've seen it 5 times myself, including the minus color version, which we'll talk about at another time. But let's go ahead and dive into the story, Corey. Absolutely brilliant. I love that it was a direct post-war, World War II Japan, and it's really a story about courage, redemption, overcoming adversity, tragedy, trauma, and it's just so beautifully well done. You've probably heard me call it one of the greatest character stories and hero stories that we have ever seen in cinema. I think you throw it into that category, prestigious storytelling. And once again, Godzilla comes back into his metaphorical, terror and just absolute chaos. It's so incredible how great this story truly was. They really cracked it. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Story was fantastic. War torn Japan, and Godzilla is not here to fix the balance. He's here to cause complete mayhem and be that monster. Some of like the MonsterVerse Godzilla is in some ways. Like he was a terror, like you've said numerous times. And I was thinking like this is kind of my first like real experience seeing Godzilla. Again, I'm a younger Godzilla fan. Seeing him as a terror, like just here to mess shit up. It was insane. It was scary. The characters were fantastic, and like you said, Trey, the character driven story of it was phenomenal. The characters were so good that you didn't mind not seeing Godzilla in certain places. You like had a legitimate care for these characters and who they were as people, and you were rooting for them in some ways.
There was a theme that I remember Michael Dougherty, who directed Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019, he had said that one of the hardest parts of doing a Godzilla film is giving a character story and a human story that people can really get behind and actually care about the human beings. And that should always be the goal, right? Like Godzilla should be a part of it. And it clearly, it's the name that drives everyone to their seats in the cinemas. But the story, the human story was just so powerful and moving. And seeing it 5 times, it made me emotional every single time that I saw this movie. And I think that just goes to show how well the cinematography, the directing, and the performances were, Corey. And I think it's one of the highlights of this movie. Let's go ahead and talk about the characters of Godzilla Minus One. Obviously, we got to give a lot of credit, and I'm almost disappointed that he didn't get an Oscar nomination. But the main character, Kochi, wow, it really focuses on him, the trauma that he deals with from being a kamikaze pilot for Japan.
Kamikaze pilot.
Yeah. And it deals with his basically he's haunted by his past. And there's a certain scene where he's like, he wants to be forgiven. He wants to move on. He wants to live finally. And something happens in the middle of the film that it's like his demons won't let him go. And I love one of the quotes from the movie, which is, "My war isn't finished." And it just, his story, like you said, take it beyond Godzilla. One of the greatest human stories ever told in cinema, easily.
Absolutely. It had all the right story to it. It was a redemption story, it was a fight story, it was a love story, and it was a hero story as well. So like there were so many elements to his story that just made it so captivating. And like I said, he's a disgraced character, in the beginning, and he's kind of trying to always find that redemption. And you felt for him. Absolutely felt for him.
Yeah. And especially where it comes to this, like he's finally gained the courage necessary for what, he begins at, what he needed in the beginning to be for his country. But it also deals with the flaws and the ideologies that maybe weren't the best mindset for that country at that time in World War II, right? Of how the government treated its citizens at the time. And I love that there's just so many different complicated layers to peel back from the human driven story that it just makes it so beautiful. And I think another thing that just made his particular performance so incredible was the cast surrounding him, from Noriko, Sumiko, Seiji, the captain, Doc, the kid. There was just so many, even the little girl. With just all these beautiful storytellings about how each person is kind of dealing with this post-World War II Japan, and kind of giving a different element to it, whether it's, being thrown into responsibility like Noriko was, with, raising this child that she had no idea what to do, to a little bit of forgiveness with Sumiko. Like so many great elements. Especially, I loved the team on the boat. Where some of them are veterans, and one kid who loved the opportunity to prove himself. And there's just so many great elements and chemistry throughout that entire cast that it's just, once again, they nailed the gentleness, the tragic, the emotional drama, and the love story, but also a little bit of comedy too, to kind of ease some moments. Peaceful comedy, as I call it. That's very important.
Absolutely. And, I think too, like coming from a failed kamikaze pilot that, your government, your military is forcing you to do, to, and kind of Mechanic Tachibana kind of was that driving factor there to go into like all lives, matter side of things for the Japanese culture, and that they have to bring everybody home from this fight, because they see, just the mass deaths that they're and destruction that their home has seen with post World War II, as well as Godzilla's entrance into their world.
Absolutely. And I think Tachibana, great character too, because that was kind of a full circle moment with his character, who plays the mechanic, who has a very complicated and intense relationship with the main character. And it's really the root of the main character's horror, his nightmare, right? Like the thing that won't forgive him, the thing that won't let him go of his pain and his ghosts, his demons. And to see where their story goes throughout this movie, just another very moving moment that I can't say enough wonderful things about these characters. Corey, is there anything you want to add before we go on to obviously the big G-Man himself,
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic characters. Loved every single one of them, and got a little bit of my Hallmark ending there too with them as well. So I enjoyed that element very, very much.
Let's go ahead and talk about the G-Man himself. You cannot do a Godzilla movie without talking about the big king of the monsters himself. From myth to living nightmare, a terrifying force of nature, a colossal predator, which was a different thing than we've seen in the 70 years of different Godzilla iterations. Corey, what was it like for you, as you're starting to get into this, to see Godzilla not so much take a protector role, but to be a true terror, a predator lurking in the oceans, just causing mayhem?
Bro, I loved it, man. Like the most Godzilla that I've seen has always been like Godzilla had a purpose for something. 1998 Godzilla was protecting eggs and everything like that. Monsterverse Godzilla's was a very like kind of protector and the balance of Earth,
The
and
guardian of Earth, yeah.
Exactly, the guardian. And then this one is like freaking honey badger Godzilla. Godzilla don't care. Godzilla don't play no shit. He's coming in there to just wreck your world. And the terrifying, like this scene is literally one of my favorite scenes in this movie, because it has a little bit of that Jawsy element to it and everything like that. And he's just swimming at them, and he's like, "I'm just gonna kill you guys. I'm coming to kill you. That's what I'm here for." Yeah. And even when he's destroying just the world, like he doesn't care, and it just this menace of a like you said, living nightmare. He's just there to destroy, and I'm not gonna lie, it was fun watching just Godzilla just destroy.
Yeah.
But with the characters that like you said, it shows how important the characters are too, because typically I'm like, when I was seeing, I was like, oh yeah, Godzilla destroy everything. I was like, except for these characters, be careful. These characters don't hurt them,
Put them in a
please.
bubble, a safe, story bubble.
Or usually you probably don't care about that as much. I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're like, let just Godzilla wreak havoc on everything. So, loved it. Like this opened my eyes to a whole new Godzilla, Trey, and I definitely want to see more Living Nightmare Godzilla. And you're gonna have to help guide me to what movies I need to watch next, maybe watch parties and all that as well.
Dude, absolutely. And it's kind of funny that we talk about Godzilla. He's been around now almost 70 years, and this is kind of the first time we've seen him be a predator, a monster, a creature that wreaks havoc in the ocean. I mean, I guess you could say they kind of did it a little bit with the Sony 1998 one, but this one is like, he enjoys it. It was almost like a Joker style Godzilla, where he just loves and smirks and smiles at the destruction that he causes when he's admiring his work after he's used his atomic blast, which very cool, different take on how Godzilla uses his atomic breath. I really dug it, and honestly, it's one of the most powerful special moves, I guess you could say, that we've ever seen Godzilla do. I mean, his atomic breath has always been super powerful and intense, but Takashi Yamazaki really took it up a notch, and it was so freaking cool to see. And even a little bit of the origin side of Godzilla, they kind of took it back a little bit for us, going back to not to ruin anything, but they took a little from the original Heisei era Godzilla films with Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, which I thought was super cool. As a fan, I kind of went, oh, I know what they're doing, this is awesome, I really enjoyed it. But like you said, Corey, just a true terror, and I love that. It's one of those scenes where, depending on the different Godzilla films you like, whether you do like the kind of the silly Showa era, or the Protector, monster versus monster kind of thing, or the legendary style, or the classic, like Shin Godzilla, to all the way back to 1954 with Gojira, and there's something for everybody. And I think that's what's so cool about this character, is he can be utilized in so many different ways, and this film proved it. Something that they never really touched on, which was Godzilla's force of nature in the ocean, in the water, and it was perfect. I love the Jaws references, like you said, dude.
Right? Yeah, it was fantastic, and they had all the elements, where he's in the jungle, T-Rexy vibes, Jawsy vibes in the ocean, and then just straight Godzilla beasting it up in the cities, buddy.
Dude, absolutely. And kudos to director Takashi Yamazaki. Man, did he freaking nail it. I know all the way back from, I think it was like 2005, when he did this movie called Always Sunset on 3rd Street, where he kind of had his first little stab at Godzilla with this dream sequence. And you could tell he took a lot of inspiration from that, even because it was kind of a post-World War, Japan. And to see just what he was able to do with, they're saying, less than a $15 million budget, is insane.
Possibly sub 10 million,
even sub 10. Wow. I mean, it truly is incredible what Takashi was able to do as the director, the writer, the VFX. He even did the Godzilla ride for Toho, which you could tell there's a little bit of a similar design with this particular Godzilla. But he just seemed, his vision was just so spot on that, once again, I feel like Godzilla -1 was a bit, they should have got nominated for best movie, best director, best actor, not just VFX, because Takashi, well done, dude. Just an incredible job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yamazaki, director Yamazaki, he did such a fantastic job that he took, people who weren't necessarily Godzilla fans, or people who, really didn't have a kaiju experience before this, and got them hooked. I know for me, for example, I like seeing the trailers up to it, and then, got Monarch Legacy of Monsters, kind of leading up to everything like that. Like I was getting really excited for this Godzilla -1 movie. and he did such a good job with it that he's turning me into a Godzilla fan. Like I'm loving it, dude. Like it's absolutely amazing. Great story, great casting, great use of budgets and funds and everything like that.
Yeah.
Just overall fantastic job. And yeah, you're right. He probably was snubbed quite a bit in the Oscars and everything like that.
Yeah. And, I mean, it does warm my heart, like you said, that they are getting a little bit of recognition. When he was over at the Golden Globes, I think he won an award there for VFX again. But like, everyone seems to know, like, I think, he got an invite to Lucasfilms, to showcase his movie there. So people are recognizing the incredible job and the incredible film that it is. So he seems to be one of those guys who's humble, and he's happy that, sometimes you don't need the acknowledgement from the committee, but you need it from the fans and the people that love the character Godzilla. And you could tell this man truly does love Godzilla. And I would love to see if he wants to do a second one. I have no idea where they go from here or how they improve and make a better movie than, the first movie. But like, if he wants another crack at it and has a vision, give it to him, whatever the man wants.
Absolutely. And I would say don't ever make a movie for the critics, for the Academy, for the groups. Always make it for a fan. Always be the fan service movie that you strive for. And we'll come out and support just like we did.
Do you have any additional thoughts? Me, I always like to talk about the music, but is there anything you want to address as well that maybe we overlooked?
Music was fantastic. It definitely puts you in the mood. Everything like that. Trey, you probably know who the musical composer was and everything like that. And,
Naoki Sato.
See, I do have it already. Man, VFX was phenomenal as well. I'm not gonna lie. Did we miss the guy in the suit? No way. This thing looked fantastic. He was awesome. Although it would have been like, I always think it would be fun being Godzilla in a suit, playing Godzilla.
That's a dream job,
Go at things, So no,
I think one of the most incredible parts, Corey, about the VFX is I feel like water is so difficult to do, and the textures of that, of showing Godzilla's wet skin, him moving through the waters, it looked real, which was incredible, and I was so impressed by that alone.
Right? How did they made it look? You're right. For the amount of money that they had, they made it look incredibly real, and the textures were fantastic. Like you said, the wet skin, like just looking in the back there, like it's just amazing. And you're right, water is tough because if it gets a little too like under, the water talking and like stuff like that, it looks, fake, Aquaman-y, type thing, So, they did an incredible job. I didn't even think about that thought, Trey, about how difficult it is to shoot in water and everything like that as well.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I was thinking about, Corey, because I saw the movie, it was my first movie that I ever saw in 40X. And it's basically a roller coaster ride when you're watching the movie. And the scene with Kochi when he's flying the jet, it felt so Top Gun like. That was like, I can't think of, this is probably a reason subconsciously why you especially love this movie,
Oh yeah, that's a good point. There's a lot of airplane and Top Gun-y vibes to it. That Trey, that
kind of a similar hero story too, a little bit of redemption, from some guilt, trying to get over guilt.
Oh my God, Trey, you're 100% right. It's Godzilla Top Gun. Holy cow!
Top Gun? Yes, sir. God help us.
I mean, I think it just goes to show that there's a lot of inspirations that you could pull from in this movie. Clearly, from Jaws to Jurassic Park to Top Gun to many other great films, and it all worked. This character is so flexible in multiple different genres that I think it just goes to show why Godzilla has been able to stand the test of time. And like you said, Corey, when I saw the black and white version for its final week this last week, I really focused on the music, and of course they bring back the famous Akira Ifukube, Godzilla theme coming ashore, but they use it a little bit differently, and it hits so well. There's one particular score called LG that is just it's so heavy, it's so dramatic, it's so powerful, and to incorporate and support that emotional scene, just man, does it. Well done to the composer. Just Naoki, you did an incredible job. It was so freaking good, man. And I'm glad it at least got the VFX Oscar nomination, but this is a film that definitely deserved a lot more. But you know what? It's a film that I think I will keep coming back to. I'm going to keep watching it. I can't wait until it's in digital. There's very few films I go to see 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times. 5 times is the most I've ever been to a movie, and only 2 films have ever done that. But such an incredible film, man, and truly a global phenomenon, because domestically, when it released December 1st, I think the opening weekend it did like 11 million actually, and in only half of the theaters. It wasn't in. I think the U.S. has like 4,000 theaters. It did like 2,300 theaters, something like that. So the fact that it gained over time, they kept extending it. Do you remember seeing that on Instagram, Corey? It was like each week they were like, Godzilla -1 has been extended another 2 weeks.
Dude, they did. They didn't realize the gem, that diamond that they had in their hands when they first brought it out. They're like, all right, we know our Godzilla fans that are faithful Godzilla fans, they're going to come to see it, and we'll put it in select theaters so they could drive to go see it. And no, it blew up. It blew up, and it went everywhere. It went viral, and people wanted to see it in theaters. And I'm so glad that they were able to expand into more theaters, more showings, and everything like that. Almost makes you wonder, like what would have been, box office numbers if they just hit it hard right from the get-go,
Yeah, if it was in all like 4,000 theaters domestically, what it could have done then. Because it's been absolutely incredible. I think total for US numbers, it's over $56 million, even with the black and white version. So I mean, it's when I even had coworkers who never give Godzilla films the time of day because it's not cinema. It's just your typical fun B movie, just action packed things. They were talking about it. They were coming up to me and being like, dude, you were right about that movie. Insane. Absolutely incredible. And even the fact that, it was subtitled, it was not English dubbed. It was a very easy film to watch in Japanese with English subtitles. I felt like I've seen quite a few, obviously being a Godzilla fan. I felt like it was very easy to follow, and just an absolute incredible film. Is it a global phenomenon? Absolutely. On a sub $15 million budget and making over $105 million, you betcha it's a global phenomenon. Absolutely.
Your trailers were so fantastic, Godzilla -1, that you got this. Not really a kaiju crazy person guy, and definitely not a person who would ever see a movie in theaters with subtitles, to go to a Godzilla movie with subtitles and watch it and absolutely love it. Like that. Amazing.
Like I said, to hear Corey's reaction to it, someone who used to tease me about this, and to see him acknowledge Godzilla.
Acknowledge me.
-1 as just one of the greatest films of 2023, and one of the best films, probably if you put it in the top 100 greatest films of all time. It could be on there. I would think so easily. For me, it is definitely.
Yeah.
Comment down below, our fellow Monarch Monsters. Let us know your thoughts about Godzilla -1. Corey, I know we like to score our movies and give people the Bad Channel official reaction and rating, and you're going to have to wait.
God, give me the answer.
You're going to have to wait for our live stream discussion with our fellow Monarch Monstars panel. So make sure you guys set your notification bells for that. It's going to be good. We're going to have a lot of people on discussing this incredible film and everyone giving their scores. You probably can guess where this range of scores are going to be for us, because we absolutely loved it. And unfortunately, if you live in the US and you didn't see Godzilla -1, you missed out. You should have gone to see it, but don't worry. I have a feeling it's going to be coming out in digital and DVD and physical copy fairly soon here. So when it does,
do you think
don't
we'll get
waste time.
both the color and minus color version?
God, I hope so. That would be cool, because black and white was cool. Giving us that little bit of that old 1954 feel for sure, man. So
1954.
You already know what to do, folks. Smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I'm your host, Trey, with the Super Bro Corey, and don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time,
same bat channel. See you later, guys. Have a good one.
We out.
Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And for more Godzilla content, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Bat Channel.